Okay, so here we go.
Will
Ashok, off camera conversations, Gargi wanting a cushion so that her height increases, doesn't need to go on air. Come on. Now Minu's directing Gargi from behind. That also people want to see. Okay, good.
Oh,
Now Vinod is actually giving her the cushion. Not bad here. If Indian team gets so much support, then they would have played much better. Anyway, see, first things first. We are in our friend founder Vinod's house. Minu's already offered us 20 different varieties of tea. The point here is we are actually told this is a pleasant September. If this is a pleasant September, what is a bad September is what I wonder. Apparently, 3 weeks back, if you walked out for 5 minutes, you would have heat stroke. This is pleasant. It's still 40 degrees. That's how Dubai is. So when you're thinking of the game, when you're thinking what can transpire and what the players are going through, please remember that it's not easy being a player. Not just an Indian player. Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Oman, Pakistan, I don't care. But that's how hard it is when you're going out there to train. By the way, when the players are coming out at 5 p.m., doesn't mean that the players are leaving hotel at 5. They're out there at ground 4:30. Yesterday, both of us were there, 3 of us were there. They were out there at 4:30, 4:45. It's not easy, folks. And there comes the fans, our subject for today. If the players are out there at 4:30, the fans are out there at 3:30 waiting for the players and chanting their names and shouting slogans and jumping up and about. And that's where Sanju Samson comes in. Gargi, Ashok joining me on the show as always. Gargi, what explains this madness for Sanju Samson? I mean, Sanju Samson in pockets, in enclaves, can actually compete with Virat Kohli. Rohit Juglan got trolled like anything because he made a mistake with that Sanju Samson story, saying Jitesh Sharma will play. In fact, so much so that whatever Rohit Juglan yesterday came and said Sanju Samson is the greatest wicketkeeper batter ever born.
He's now afraid to talk about the practice sessions. Not really, but he was just joking, of course. But he's afraid of talking about the practice sessions because of the hate that he got on social media, because he said that Sanju will not play, and then he ended up playing in that first game against UAE. And I remember the comment section in all of our live shows, everyone just blasting Rohit Juglan and saying that he's a bad journalist, that he should be fired from the company and whatnot. But that's not the thing. You can't always predict 100% accurate playing 11 when you're on the outside. Anything can happen. Any last moment changes can happen. And well, Sanju Samson did tell us that Gautam Gambhir had promised him a long rope, and you know, we all were just speculating that if not at the top order, where would Sanju bat? Which is why we thought that Jitesh Sharma would come in. But when we talk about that fandom, I wish I could understand, you know, how it all happened, how Sanju Samson, you know, sort of became this huge phenomenon in India. And, you know, honestly, I think a lot of his, I was going to say that his inclusion came after, you know, there was a lot of public outrage every time he was left out. I think that also has a slight part to play in it. But at the same time, when we look at the support that he gets from the public, from the fans, I can't think of any other player of his stature who wasn't that at that point a regular in the team, yet had one of the biggest fandoms ever. How do you explain that?
My explanation is this, and you take this. In India, we love underdog stories. Sanju Samson is the quintessential victim. Sanju Samson fans always and always will say that Sanju Samson is the victim. That despite being a deserving player, he has not been given adequate opportunities. Sanju Samson's victimhood has culminated also to an extent in this incredible protective love that Samson gets. That's I mean, people will say, what nonsense are you saying? He's deserving, etc. But the fact is, look, if you see his career, you can argue both ways. You can argue Sanju Samson did not do justice to the opportunities he's got. You can argue he did not get long runs. For the first time here under Gautam Gambhir and Surya Kumar Yadav, he is getting a long run. Where do you stand on this? I'm also asking you because you are from the south of the country, and a lot of people, so for example, Abdul Manzoor Manchu, we love Sanju, he's our emotion. Prakash Solanki, Sanju. Abhilash Kuru Kuthil, Sanju Samson is the senior most player, nothing strange. Abhish Kurian, 100% no doubt after Virat. Gokul whatever Varma, Sanju is loved because he's a good player. So all of this. Somebody says Siddharth Patil, whole India loves Sanju, especially south of India. Why?
I think this is a very fascinating subject. I've spent years cutting my teeth on advertising and consumer behavior, and I would like to kind of propose a slightly alternate theory. I think the issue is obviously it comes from the underdog philosophy, but I think the issue is that people who've reached a certain level of global scalable fandom, in this case, let's take Virat, for example. We were talking about this a few minutes back. Virat is now a global personality. And while Sanju Samson is at a situation where he's more aspirational, he's more relatable. And therefore, the average man thinks that they can relate to Sanju Samson far more than
Then
somebody
Virat.
who's gone beyond the realm of their appreciation. So it's not to do with a national or regional kind of parochialism. It is not to do with the talent that they bring to the forefront. It is that this is somebody who we relate to. Sanju Samson has done well in the IPL matches. He seems to be someone who's like the boy next door. You've seen it in movies. You've got superstars and you've got the boy next door, or you've got the girl next door. And sometimes you're just rooting for that person because you think that that person hasn't got their due. So I think it is to do with the underdog philosophy, but there are multiple shades of it. And I think uh, ultimately people love to say, here's somebody whom we can relate to. And then you're willing to go out there and stick your neck out for that person.
Does it?
Gargi, somebody says I'm from Uttar Pradesh and I love Sanju Samson. Arvind, who's this? Somebody's. Wait. I feel South India. You guys are doing a good job, Arvind. Shubhan Goel. Ajay. Somebody said Sanju. I'm from Uttar Pradesh. I lost the
Comment.
question track. But you know, do you think had Sanju Samson actually gotten that many opportunities in the team, he would have had this kind of love?
Maybe not. Maybe not. I think it's all about hope as well. I think us common man, all of us, and the common man, especially in India, is always looking for affirmations, is always looking for, proof or evidence of success stories happening, especially for someone like Sanju Samson. Like you said, you spoke about him being so relatable. I think that has a huge part to play in it. I think you hit the nail on the head when you talked about that. You're always looking for evidence that yes, dreams can come true. And when that doesn't happen, when you don't see that happening, there's this sort of rage, inner rage that comes out. And with the Indian fandom being so passionate about cricket, when they see a Sanju Samson who's a very humble, down to earth person, he's, when you look at him, you know that he's a very genuine person. And I've heard multiple, hundreds of fan stories where Sanju has been so kind to him and has talked to them like he's your friend or something like that. And I think that also plays a huge part. Think about a Neeraj Chopra. Neeraj Chopra, you talked
Yeah.
about that realm of Virat Kohli. He's in that league. I think maybe even more. Neeraj Chopra, I call him the greatest athlete from India has ever produced. Yet, when you look at him, you can relate to him. You can see that he's, just like us. And when you see that with a Sanju Samson, you see injustice happening, people start speaking up and you start loving them more. You start loving that person more when you know that they're a good person, they're talented, yet they are not getting their due.
Yeah, fascinating. I mean, huge number of questions. Let's try and take as many as we can today. Uh, from what is Kush Gaming? I'm also from Up and love Sanju, his humbleness. Yeah, basically from UP. He's talking about his humility. Kush Gaming, Proshanjit Jana, Indian batsman, sluggish pitch like Dubai may struggle against spin. We saw him past in Sri Lanka series. That's uh, Dhoni greater than Virat, greater than Sanju. Okay, that's code forces. Debayan, I've been following Samson since 2014. He hit a straight six over the side screen. He had that panache and the talent, should have played a lot more wide ball. Sanju Samson, love from Jammu. This is a pan India story, boss. This is absolute pan India. Look at this. With South India, Jammu, UP, Ashok, come on. This is fascinating. This is. Akash, Jeff, Sanju Samson. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Amit is saying Sanju didn't get a long rope as the other white ball wicket keepers got. That's why we love him. No, no, yeah.
Yeah, I think, look, I mean, I'm from the south, and I must say that, in Kerala, every football season, people go out there and paint their houses blue and white, in support of Argentina. And, the Argentinian teams are likely to come visiting the country and come and play matches in Kerala. People are just crazy about it. I think that there is an element also of actually saying that we recognize and we are proud of true talent, people who let their bat or ball do the talking rather than really talking about themselves a lot. And I think it shows up again and again, perhaps because the temperament down south is more like that, relatively speaking. Obviously, we can't make absolute statements, but I think that's what then strikes a chord with the fans, saying that here's a person who's got sheer talent, doesn't boast about it, is perhaps not getting his due, is the underdog. Let me go out and root for him. And I think that builds up.
Yeah.
So is the UAE support for Samson based on the huge Kerala expat population here, you reckon? I mean, that massive number of Indians from the south of
Yeah.
India settled in the UAE. Does that explain Sanju Samson's massive craze in this part of the world?
It does. Look, I think one thing we should not ignore is that all said and done, social media, people who are talking about it, people speaking in their mother tongue is a matter of pride. The work that I've done, why not? Absolutely. And the work that I had done in my previous broadcasting stint showed that, you may be a great player and people appreciate your skills, but ultimately, when you make a community proud, then you become one with the crowd. And I think that makes a huge difference.
Let me ask Gargi a tricky one. Do you actually think Samson deserved more opportunities, or Samson did not do justice to the opportunities?
There was a time, now my memory isn't as great as yours to pinpoint the matches, but there were times where Sanju Samson did get a lot of chances and he did not perform. I think this was last year, early last year, where he did get a lot of chances in white ball cricket, but every time he went out there, there wasn't as much impact. We're not saying that he didn't deserve it or he didn't deserve a long rope, but I'm saying that when you perform extraordinarily well in the very rare chances that you get, it's hard for you to get dropped. And Sanju Samson did not make that possible for himself. Now, it could have been anything. It could be pressure, it could be nerves, whatever you want to call it. Maybe it just wasn't his day to be as extraordinary as he is in usual times. But he did not grab those opportunities by the throat. And I think that made a difference. You did not make yourself undroppable. You did not make yourself unforgettable. Now he's at a stage where Gautam Gambhir has put his neck out and said, I will play you in the team no matter what. Even if there's a Shubman Gill opening the batting, we're still keeping you in the team, even though we have a Jitesh Sharma who could very well come in later, lower down the order and finish for us. And he does a brilliant job at that. But we are going to stick our neck out and get you in the team. So he has earned that place in the team. He has cemented, a place in the T20 setup. But there was definitely a time where he did not, sort of justify those chances.
Okay, so that's Gargi's point that maybe at times he did not, but let's take it to a different one, Ashok. Yesterday you were part of the Sitangshu Kotak press conference where he said that Sanju Samson has not batted more than, say, one or two, or in a position that he's doing now, which is number 5, right? So suppose he fails a couple of games. What do? Drop him? Get Jitesh? Or do you bat him where he's comfortable? Because if you drop him, the truth is you've not batted him at his favorite position. But on the other hand, like Sitangshu was saying, you need a team of flexibility. So what is fair? Or is the line between fair and unfair very blurred here? That if Sanju Samson fails at number 5 and you drop him, people will say, Arey, you've batted him at 5, which is not his position, and you've dropped him. You're doing injustice to him. You're being unfair to him. On the other side, no, he's a player. He's got to perform as a team. So what if he's batting 5? He's got to perform. If he's dropped, he's dropped. Where do you stand?
I think what Sitanshu Kotak said, and I think that kind of shows the focus of what they're talking about, is that the point on flexibility that you mentioned, which is that players who can move up and down the batting order are in focus, and they honestly believe, I think, that Sanju Samson has the capability to move up and down the batting order. And the way they're approaching it is that therefore him coming in at number 5 is giving him more chances than what he could have got otherwise sticking to one position. And I think that is really reflective of the confidence that they're reposing in the player and not really pushing him into a corner where he is being set up for failure. I think the larger question is this being done in such a way that the player is being set up for failure, in which case it would be an issue. The question that you've asked in terms of what if he fails at number 5 is still very wide open. It's a great question. But I think what I saw from the press conference is that they have the confidence that he has delivered at number 1, 2, 3, whatever, but he has the ability to go batting down lower the order, and they're reposing that faith. I think that would give him more opportunities to emerge and display his talent.
Somebody is saying,
Yeah.
somebody is saying India versus Pakistan match is, again, that same question. India versus Pakistan match is greater than the nation. Nobody said that. Code forces don't try and tweak anything. What do you mean greater than the nation? Who has said that? When has anybody said that? When has anybody? The government of India has taken a call. The BCCI is following the call. The players are following the call. They're going out there and playing. Who's saying, and we are doing our job? You don't want to follow, you don't follow. Matter ends. We are being civil to you and being respectful. You are calling me gaddar, shameful, this, that, whatnot. I have not said anything. If I want to counter you, I can. But the point is, I am respecting your opinion, you respect mine. End of story. There are two different opinions in the world. There can be 25. Everything can coexist. What's an issue? You said you will cover Asia Cup with grief, but you're enjoying covering. Hello. Nobody covers anything with grief. I am doing my work. It is not a celebration. This is the job which I am doing. And Arvind, you know what? I've considered you a serious viewer. Behave like a serious viewer and don't behave like a troll. So you ask sensible questions and we'll take that. Talent without luck is Samson, says Shah Gargi. Everyone loves him because he's genuine.
Yeah, that's what I said, right? That when you look at a Sanju Samson, you think, oh, he's just like me. He's just another human being who's great at what he does. That makes him that much more relatable. Like I said, giving the Neeraj Chopra example as well. That's why Neeraj Chopra is so loved. It's the same with Sanju Samson. He gives you hope. He's a reminder of the fact that people like us also can reach the top.
Karan Tyagi, sir, match pakka hai na?
मैच बिल्कुल पक्का है.
कोई भी जो पूछ रहे हैं भाई वो मैच तो 100% हो रहा है. At least at this point 100% हो रहा है.
But one question I want to ask you, when we
Please.
talk about Sanju Samson, do you see it with the current setup? Of course, Shubman Gill will not be out of the T20 setup now. Do you see Sanju Samson becoming the next KL Rahul case?
That's a very, very good question and a valid question. I don't think Sanju Samson should be dropped without being given a fair rope at number 5. I think at least 6 to 8 opportunities are a bare minimum. You've moved his position. He's not said anything. He's entitled to getting his opportunities. And I'll tell you a Saurav Ganguly story here. Virender Sehwag went to Saurav Ganguly 2002 India versus England. And Saurav said, I want you at the top of the order for India. Now this guy he says, what are you talking about? I've never opened. So he says, you will open. And by the way, I'm saying this because yesterday Wisden picked their team of the century. And the first name in that list is Virender Sehwag as an opener. Now this call is Saurav Ganguly's call. Saurav Ganguly told him, you're opening. Virender Sehwag said, no, I've never opened. He said, you are opening, damn it, you are opening. He said, so what if I fail? He said, so you fail, I'll give you 5 games. Come on, go open. That is the confidence that Ganguly had given a Sehwag, and the rest is history. That's exactly what a Gautam Gambhir and a Surya Kumar Yadav have done to Sanju Samson.
Right.
They've gone and told him, you're not getting dropped. Come what may you play. Now you've moved his batting position. You had him at the top of the order. He scored 300s in 10 games. I remember that he's failed against England and he wasn't comfortable against the short ball. I agree. But now that he's batting at 5, give him 6 games. Give him 6 to 7 to 8 games. Everybody is entitled to fail there. Don't remove him after 2 games. Then you're not doing justice. Give him 6 to 8 games. Samson deserves that. Then if he fails for 6 to 8 games, you have to ask yourself that with the opening slot gone, Gill, Sharma, you also have Jaiswal in the wings. So do I get Sanju up or do I remove him? But only after 6 to 8 games in this position. Somebody's asked a question here that if Gill wasn't the vice captain, would I see him opening? I do. Because I think this one kind of approach doesn't give India a plan B. I think in 7 games, there will be one game where you will be 10 for 2, where you will be chasing 150, 160, 170 on a sluggish wicket. And you will need somebody of the class of Gill to ride your team home, like Virat used to do. Take the T20 World Cup final.
Yes.
That Virat innings, though I think the Akshar Patel innings in that match was the game changer, not Virat. But Virat's innings of holding it all together was essential. That's why Gill. So to answer your question, I think 6 to 8 opportunities are a minimum that Samson deserves. And that leads to that cult of victimhood. You know that, oh, this guy is a victim. This guy is a victim. He's not been given enough opportunity. I think that's where Gautam Gambhir stands out. Take the case of Shivam Dube. Shivam Dube, who would have thought? Shivam Dube is not a star.
No.
Shivam Dube is not a flamboyant star, social media following, endorsement. Shivam Dube played. Gautam made it a point to play Shivam Dube. Gautam walks the talk, and that's the good part about Gautam. And he cared 2 flying Fs about, you know, what the trolls say or the media says or anybody. No, he believes in something, he follows it. That's what he's done with Samson. 2 great points for Gautam. Loads of questions, Gargi, including a super chat. I think. आप ले लो, एक के बाद एक
Raj
आप
Sharma.
बोलो.
Let's see what Raj is saying. Viewers, tomorrow is the day when you have to choose whether you will select the real Team India, which is the Indian Army, or the fake Team India, BCCI. Boycott India versus Pakistan. We will not play with terrorists.
Respect Raj's opinion. That's all I will say. Having said that, if that means that he's a greater patriot than Ashok Gargi plays me, no, you're not. You're as much. You can say you are a nationalist, so will I. Your opinion is as good as mine, and I'm entitled to mine. So while I respect you, Raj, I don't think you are in a position to say X or Y is a lesser patriot than you are. Yeah, absolutely not. So, no.
Someone is saying...
Interesting. Yeah.
I can't find it. Karan Tyagi is saying, मेरा देश खेल रहा है, मैं देखूंगा, इंडिया को सपोर्ट करूंगा.
Karan is entitled to his
हार
opinion.
जीत दोनों में.
So it's about opinions, really.
Please say it.
Yeah, I think, look, there are multiple dimensions to this. One is that this is something that in terms of a policy, it's been laid down unequivocally, and people are very clear in terms of what that policy sets out. 2 is that the BCCI, which is the governing body, is very clear in terms of the intent to play the game. At the end of the day, this is about men's cricket. It's not about all sports. Whatever policy you look at, whatever approach you take needs to apply equally to all sports. And therefore, just picking one tournament or one aspect of sport is not fair. At the end of the day, it's also about an opinion. You are entitled to an opinion, but at the end of the day, it's a call that you take. And so even in this chat, I think we are seeing multiple points of view cropping up, and it's something that we can debate. But at the end of the day, it's really about your opinion, and you can't really force that down anyone's throat.
I just want to make one point. These cricketers are not continuing Operation Sindoor Part 2. Never did, never will. So if anybody sees them as an extension of that, he or she is badly mistaken. Somebody has said, after investing in this channel, why are less people watching in a multinational event? Let me answer this to you, Aryan. We have invested the maximum amount of money in the Paris Paralympic Games. And there are many platforms who will not even send a representative to the Paralympic Games. Now, whose responsibility is it? Yours to watch the Paralympics and support, or mine, who's covering the Paralympics with verve, commitment, and passion? If there are people like you who don't turn up and watch, who's the fool, you or me? We are doing our job. And listen, we care two hoots about who's watching. We've got a job to do. We've got money. We've got investments. We've got corporates. We've got support. We've got integrity. We've got ethics. We've got determination. And we love our sport. So take the Women's World Cup. It's starting tomorrow. Now tell me one platform, one, which will have multiple people in Mullapur covering the women's game against Australia. Tell me one. You question me, you tell me. You have, for the lack of a better word, guts, you answer me. We will have multiple people for the Women's World Cup for 45 days across India. Do you think we will get ROI? Do you think we will get return on investment on the women's game? Do you think we will have 3 people in Delhi for the World Para Championships? We will get return on investment for the Para Championships? And do you think that no, the World Para Athletics Championships or the Women's World Cup do not need to be covered? What's the model? If everything becomes ROI, I'm sorry, and by the way, if you talk ROI, we've made enough and more profit to sustain this company without depending on social media for as long as I'm alive. So that answers your question. Don't give a damn about viewers and your social media money. Never did and never will. But for a change, why don't you go and ask some platforms which have more viewership that damn well, why don't you take some social responsibility and go and cover the Women's World Cup, go and cover the Para World Championship, go and cover badminton, go and cover hockey, go and cover athletics, go and cover boxing, go and make a difference to Indian sport rather than sitting in your studio and giving your false gyan. Why don't you do that and assume a responsibility that a true sports lover does? You won't, because at the end of the day, you don't have the gumption to do that, for you're a troll.
India draws the game. Indian women's hockey team in the Asia Cup draws against Japan.
Yes, and except that loss to, so have they qualified for the finals?
No.
We needed a win.
There's a, wait, I will tell you.
Check, because we needed
Okay.
the only loss was China.
So India will reach the final of the Asia Cup if China beat Korea or avoid a defeat by less than 2 goals margin.
So it has, and let me say this
So
to
China
you.
has to win.
China has scored, if I remember from memory, 37 goals in this tournament so far, and they have conceded only 1.
Oh.
Just check once. But 37 goals in this tournament so far, and the only goal that was conceded by China was against India, Mamta. So that is the only goal that China has conceded. So we will have to see what happens there. But I think China start overwhelming favorites against Korea. India beat Korea 4-2, and China has beaten India 4-1. So if you go by the form that the Chinese team is in, there is every reason to believe that India can make the final. So that's where I will leave that. Last few minutes on the show, and the reason is we have to leave for the stadium. We've got to pick Rohit and Shubhayan and get there. Just so you guys know, 5:15, which is an hour 15 minutes from now, 6:45 is the India press conference ahead of the Pakistan game. And then at 7:15, which is 5:45, is India's optional practice session at the ICC Academy in Dubai. And yes, we will be there at the press conference. We will be there at the ICC Academy reporting. Last couple of questions and we can close.
Also, Laksha into the finals of Hong Kong.
वो तो हो गया था. Ayush Shetty को उसने हराया, and Ayush won the second, Laksha won
Yep.
the third. Satvik Chirag in the
Sakshit
final.
also won.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Satvik Chirag are in the
So
final.
two finalists.
Yeah.
Someone is saying Ashok's voice reminds me of Joydeep Mukherjee.
As in Joydeep Da. Okay. Joydeep Da is a very dear friend of ours. So Ashok's a dear friend of ours as well. And again, I mean, Ashok has added a lot of value to our coverage, and I hope he continues doing this for the longest time.
All right. I think
So can I take one? I mean, I find an interesting comment here from
Oh,
Bhavik.
Just one quick
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Laksha has defeated CTC 23-21 and 22-20. So
Wow.
Laksha in the final, and both Chuti
Yeah.
and Chen, by the way, is a tough opponent to beat.
very,
Yes.
very, very tough.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to kind of take this one because this will slightly pivot this discussion. And I'm going to ask Boria. Bhavik says Sanju Samson, if he contests the elections in Kerala, he will win easily.
Hands down.
Absolute landslide victory.
Hands down. Lands down win against anybody. I'd ask Shashi Tharoor to put this in context. Shashi would love this. I mean, Sanju Samson standing for an election in Kerala against anyone. I don't think anybody would want to take him on. But there, we have seen this cult happening. Amitabh Bachchan stood in the election. We have seen film stars come and do elections. We've seen sports people. Take the case of Navjot Singh Sidhu. Take the case. So we've seen sports people do this. So it's the first time is easy, but the second time when you've not performed or you have not performed to expectations of people, then it gets difficult. Last couple khatam karo. Nikalna hai.
Okay, I don't think we have anything more. I checked; they were all recurring comments, as in spam.
बहुत
Okay.
सवाल है नहीं है.
नहीं, वो सेम सवाल है जो हमने ऊपर लिए, वो कॉपी पेस्ट करते हैं लोग काफी सारे. All right, let me see if I can see anything new.
Someone says, if we get a story wrong,
Yeah, that's
you
what I
guys
said.
actually go back to the source, confront them. So I mean, if you get a story wrong, you rectify. That's what you do. You go back, you rectify, and you come up and say that this story was wrong, and here's the correct version. That's it. This is no crime to, if you're referring to Rohit Juglan and Sanju Samson, this was his observation. Every journalist here made that observation, so did Rohit, and end of story. As his editor, I've got no problems with that.
Yeah.
I would much rather push my journalist to take a stand and give me a news point, whether he goes wrong or right, rather than sitting and waiting for a press release to come out.
All right.
Perhaps we end the show on what to expect tomorrow with less than 24 hours to go.
1 second.
Yeah.
Akash, among all journalists, we thought since you fought against BCCI and system during Saha case, you should have shown guts not to cover India, Pakistan. Money speaks in your case also. By the way, we are losing money. In men's cricket, you always lose money. It's a cluttered space. We are making no money. Who's this? Akash. Akash, we are making no money. If you think we are making money and that's why we are covering this, we are making no money. So completely mistaken. We are doing what our calling calls us. We've got to cover this team. We cover all sport. Why are you not talking about the Women's World Cup and saying why are you not covering Women's World Cup in Colombo, boycott that? Why are you not saying boycott Neeraj Chopra? Why are you not saying boycott hockey? Why are you not saying boycott boxing? Why are you not saying boycott wrestling? Why are you only saying India versus Pakistan men's cricket? Why? Boycott all sport here. Take a stand of consistency. No, you take a stand of consistency. I've got no problems. Absolutely no problems. I respect that stand. Why are you guys only insistent on men's cricket? Tell me, there's an India versus Pakistan match in Colombo on the 6th of October. Have you said boycott that? Have one person come out and said boycott that? It's a home World Cup for India. You boycott that? Have you said that? No, you haven't. Why haven't you? Because women's cricket doesn't sell. Come on. We are making no money here. No question. So don't give us this money ROI bullshit, okay? We are doing what our calling tells us to do. We respect your calling. You don't want to follow. You don't want to cover. End of story. We are doing what we need to do and what we want to do. End of story. You respect us. We respect you. Civil. Gargi khatam kariye.
All right. On that note, I think we have one last super chat. What does it say?
Whatever it is.
It says CSK missed the opportunity to leave Sanju.
To leave, Sanju.
Leave or retain.
Leave Sanju.
No, not clear.
Leave.
Matlab, to take Sanju from Rajasthan could have been the thing that basically trade Sanju. Trade Sanju.
Yeah. All right. On that note,
Yeah.
We'll be back very, very soon. India press conference, pre-match press conference. It will be a tense one. Shubman Gill, we're expecting Shubman Gill to come out there and speak to the media.
Today, no, maybe.
No?
I think
Who is
again
it?
they
That's
will
what I'm
give.
asking.
Yesterday, Molin was saying maybe one of the coaches
Staff?
will come. Yes.
Okay,
We'll
alright.
see who comes.
We'll see who comes. We'll be there to update you either way. And then, of course, following the press conference, there will be a India practice session. We'll be there as well. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We'll be back very soon.